we build our nation together. I said, come, yeah, we build our nation together. Yeah, we build our nation together. I said, come, yeah, we build our nation together. We build a beautiful nation. Come, yeah, we build our nation together. Come together.
Come. Let we build a nation together. Welcome to the Dynamic Hour, and specifically this segment where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for meaningful engagement. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. It is so important that you share the live so that others can discover the program, so that others can listen to the program. Yes, those on radio, they will talk about the program, right? The frequency and so on. Vibes 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM and Wild 106.3 FM. That's great. People will talk about it and they would find it on their radio. But if you're viewing me on Facebook and on YouTube, you have to share. You have to share the video, share the program. That's important. All right. And if you are following me on Grenada Transformation Agenda, that's on Facebook, like the page, follow the page, become a follower of the page. All right. So once I am on, you will get a notification and you can then tune in. I want to ask those who are seeking to use what happened recently for political mileage and for political relevance after this pass. What next will you ride on? After all of this, is no longer the talk in Grenada or internationally or online. What next will you hop on to be relevant, to be talked about? Because what I can tell my listeners and viewers, when a political party is acting that desperate, it means that they are not organized. It means they have serious problems within that organization. So they cannot organize their convention. And by law and by the constitution, they're supposed to have a convention every year. They have not done so. They cannot even organize the general counsel. Something as simple as a general counsel to map the way forward to have that convention. They cannot even organize a fundraiser, a successful fundraiser, not in Grenada, not in Carriacou, not in Petit Martinique, not even in the diaspora, successfully so. So it says something about the organization, because anytime you see a political organization is using a situation like the one that they are using now to be relevant, you have to start zooming further in to look at the organization and to see the weakness within that organization. Because we all are saddened by what took place with these three criminals. And it's not like somebody tell them to do it. It is not like somebody organized them to do it. No. We are saddened by what occurred. And we will like to see better structures in place, a better system when it comes to security in place. And we are calling for that because we know where the problem lies. And yes, the opposition will like to have this entire blame game be leveled against the Minister of National Security, our beloved Prime Minister, and his government. That is what the opposition will like to see, because they want to use this as some vehicle to get back into power. It's like they still believe they can get back into power with all of this stupidness because they did it in the past. They were very successful in the past to use all of these things to create doubt in the minds of people. But this is a different Grenada. Grenadians are more in tune with what is happening in this place. Grenadians are more learned when it comes to current affairs. So you cannot easily fool Grenadians. So those on the opposition side, they need to think again. We will not be fooled by you. You fool us a lot of times. Plenty times, the opposition forces, they've done so. But we understand who mess up. And yes, we are asking some tough questions because Grenada's image is at stake. Our country's image is at stake. And it could have happened under any administration. It could have happened under the NNP administration or the NDC administration. So it's not that because NDC is in power, this is happening. Anyone who thinks so is a political lunatic because they have injected the politics in all of this. In fact, early this morning I was laughing because this mosquito man, I think he calls himself Boss, The guy is a real political lunatic. Here it is. Our beloved Prime Minister went to attend, I think it's the 46th CARICOM Summit or CARICOM meeting in Guyana. And all the leaders had a particular shot on. And you know, Guyana, they produce a certain line of clothing. So all of them had a certain attire on with a yellow collar and white. You know, the shirt is white. So our beloved Prime Minister was there. And photos are taken with all the leaders. So as they went to have lunch, because it's a number of days they were in Guyana, a lot of work to be done. This is no small meeting and no easy meeting, right? This is CARICOM summit and so many things to discuss. You had the Brazilian leader there, the president of Brazil, and quite a number of others, you know, other important people. So you have to build relationships, you have to negotiate on the side of these meetings because you want good for your people. You want projects, you want programs, you want opportunities to come for your people. So this political lunatic called Mosquito Man, I think his boss, whatever he calls himself, would post a photo like that and use words to the effect, well, while Grenadians are hurting or while Grenadians are, you know, dealing with this situation, baby Jesus is eating, you know, or out eating, something like that. And one wonders because these people are speaking for the opposition forces in the country. And look, I don't have to tell you the comments under that post. I mean, people really blazed that idiot. Folks went under that particular post and they really dealt with him, right? So I am not really worried about that because Grenadians know better, all right? So 95% of the comments were really blasting him. But that guy just can't see it, right? It's sad though that these people are the ones who are speaking for the opposition forces. And you ask yourself, but they still want to come back into power and govern and run Grenada. But look who they have speaking for them and pushing their agenda out there. Look at the people, look at the crop of people who they have, the opposition forces have speaking for them. The Mosquito Man, huh? The Jenny Simon, the Carl Keaton, the Devon Romaine. I mean, you wonder, you wonder, Prince James or whatever is his name from St. Mark, he used to be a police also. He's no longer that. And I know what happened, why he's not. It's amazing. But they believe by going out there and saying certain things for some strange reason, right? Or some magical thing will happen that those who want to come back into power will just come back into power. That is what they believe. They are convinced that what they are doing will get the opposition forces back into power. And I laugh because Grenadians are way more advanced than even them, they who speak for the opposition forces. Because Grenadians know that things do happen. Grenadians know that the police mess up. Grenadians know that the government has nothing to do with this, but they also know that the government will take steps to prevent this from happening again. And they have confidence in our leader, in our beloved leader. So you tell me, how these people really think, you know, about what they're saying and how they're approaching this and how people will receive it, how the Grenadian people will receive it. Because Grenadians are formula. We are about Grenada. We want good for Grenada. And we believe that this government is doing a very good job and bringing us to where we want to go. Right? So, look, I tell them it's just a matter of time. Because after this situation, what next? You criticize the hot meal program for 2 weeks. It was about the hot meal. And now you no longer talk about that because all the schools are now giving a free hot meal to the children, to the students. And they put structures in place, they correct that. Okay, you move on from that. What next? After this situation, what will you talk about? Will you talk about your convention? Will you talk about your general council and then your convention? What next? I am saying we are thinking differently as a people. We are no longer this population where you could just come and say this and say that and ride your way back into power. Because we saw what the NDC did in the last 20 months. Total transformation. What you couldn't do in 20-something years, the NDC did it in 20 months. We don't want to go backwards. We want to move forward. And all you need to do is to have 2 mirrors. Put the most honorable Deacon Mitchell here and his team, and put that particular individual and the people around him on this side. And just look at both of them. And where will you see your future? Who will you put your future in? In the hands of who? That's important, you know. Put both of them on the wall and let's look at it. Because while Grenadians are hurt or saddened, and they would have hoped for a different outcome after hearing about the escape of these 3 prisoners, we are still cognizant of the fact that we live in a real world. Things do happen. We are not accustomed to this. And the crime rate in Grenada is very, very low still. There are some people who want you to believe that it is high. It's not. And look, the opposition forces, they're the ones who are continuing this whole saga. because they want this to continue. They want to see Grenada on its knees, because when Grenada is on its knees, it is easier for them to climb on the back of Grenada and get back into power, or get into power. But I have confidence in the Grenadian people. You see, after June election of 2022, I have renewed confidence in the Grenadian people. And we know that Grenada is resilient and the people are resilient. This too shall pass. Give it a next week or two. Some changes will be made within the Royal Grenada Police Force. Some changes will be made within the public service. And all this hype, all this talk, that will dissipate. It will disappear. Because even if the opposition forces are talking about a number of things, they are still not able to control the narrative. They are still not able to control the flow of conversation in the country or outside of the country. So they're on quite a number of podcasts. They have quite a number of radio programs, but still they are not able to control the narrative. Grenadians are moving on and doing their due. Right? So, yes, they have a base. Both political parties have a strong base. The NDC's base is growing. It is growing. Because normally, when you are an incumbent, over time, you are likely to lose some support. But because of the leader that we have and the team that we have and the work that they're putting down, the membership, the supporters, the people, they are coming on board, right? More and more people are registering because they want to vote for the NDC come the election. Whenever you see people registering early in the game, because they're pleased with what is happening, right? And they want to keep the transformation agenda going. That has never happened under any NDC government. Never. But it's happening now as we speak. More and more people are registering to vote. In fact, yesterday, 3 people reached out to me. Said, look, they got registered. And you may see it as small in number, right? A small number, 3. But it adds up. Because before independence, we have seen a lot of people getting registered. After independence, we know the numbers will drop. But once you see people continuing the process to register, then you know things are looking up and up and up. Because, for example, in St. John, the difference between the Honorable Kireen James and the guy she ran against was just about 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 votes. You see? Just about that. So if we can get our people in St. John to go back to the polls and vote, but we can grow the amount of people. So between now and the election, Some people will die. Some people will migrate. Some people will say they're not voting again. Some will say they're voting. So give and take, you would have on both ends, on the opposition side and on the government side. Both ends, the government party, the governing party, opposition party. So they would be somewhat fairly equal between now and then, right? And things might look differently in terms of um, maybe uh, the Honorable Kireen James may run against another candidate. Maybe it might be different from an NDC standpoint. You never know between now and the election. Just giving you as an example, right? A real example. So having 200 or 300 people register from our end, that will make the difference. It will make the difference because NDC people will go out and vote. The NNP people will go out and vote. So it's all about getting the new people who turn 18 or those who were registered before and didn't vote, getting them out to vote. And those who got registered recently or from the election to now, it's a numbers game. And don't believe the opposition forces don't know it's a numbers game. But they're scared because historically, when NDC is in, things start looking downward in terms of numbers, in terms of support. We have seen it in 2008, 2013, but this time around it is looking upward. More and more people are registering, more and more people are supporting the government, more and more people love what is happening. So while the opposition forces, they're out there talking about nearly everything. They're creating stuff, they're concocting stuff. You hear some of them talking about late payment and this and that. And when you really find out 2 and 3 people here who having little challenges because of administrative issues. But boy, they're out there and they, you understand the point? Is what they're saying. But it's still not getting any or making any inroads in terms of the narrative and controlling the narrative. Because people know that no system is perfect and things do take time. All right? So all how you look at it, our people are registering because our people want to keep the transformation agenda alive and well in Grenada. And there are people who are persuading their family members and friends to register and to support this agenda. So come the next election, the opposition will get more leaks at the polls. And they know that. Because you see, in the political cycle, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell has not yet reached his peak. It's just like when a certain individual won in 1995. He worked out that term. There was some turbulence, and he called the election in 1999 and won all 15 seats because he did not reach his peak in the first term. And people thought that he should have been given more time and a fair chance to transform the country and to deliver and so on and so forth. Because Grenadians are reasonably in their thinking. Some people underestimate our Grenadian people here. So he called the election in 1999 and he got all 15 seats. But then you saw the decline. Alan Thornby, a great physician, right? Not physician, sorry. A great historian, philosopher, spoke in many of his writings about the rise and fall of everything. There is a peak, or there is a rise, and there is a fall. There is a climb, and then there is a decline. And that's reality. Let's look at the many kingdoms that rose over the many decades or hundreds of years. And then they fall, right? So politically, it's the same process, unless you bow out at your peak. I mean, the NNP was strong, was popular at a particular time in history. I'm telling you, people had hope that things will happen for Grenada, but it turns out that they messed up. They messed up over time. So when 1999 came, right, all 15 seats, then 2003, you saw the graph going down. They lost 7 out of that 15 because we saw the rise and then we saw the fall. And also, there were a number of factors. The NDC was more organized. The NNP got swell-headed. The leader got swell-headed and, was doing all kind of stupidness. The NNP administration was rocked by a lot of corruption, a lot of misappropriation, a lot of bubble, and so on and so forth. By 2008, they were in opposition. They lost. You see? So 1995 to 1999, they climbed 2 terms. Then the next 2 terms, they were out. You see? And then the NDC came in, and you had some problems there. So they ride on that and came right back in. And they did 2 terms again, and then they fall. So history will teach us that, generally speaking, if you do good, if you perform, you will get 2 terms. And if you get swell-headed and you continue to perform and you continue to fulfill your promises and meet, people where you're supposed to meet them, you may get 3 terms or 4 terms. So while those folks in opposition believe that for some reason, with 1 or 2 isolated things happening that we can't control or the politicians can't control, they would just ride their way back into power and they would be relevant again. Right? That is what they believe. They believe that something magical will happen for them because they want bad things to happen. Don't fool yourself. The opposition forces want bad things to happen in Grenada. So then they will bounce back. Then they will come back into power. That is what they believe. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I am saying to you, that is their thinking. But as I said at the beginning of my conversation, anytime you see an organization want to use crisis or some situation or a situation like that to be relevant, look out. That organization is disorganized. They have serious problems within there. Yep, a lot of problems. They cannot even organize a fundraiser and have it successful. They can't. They cannot even organize a general council. They cannot even organize a convention. They can't organize nothing that is successful. All they have is some pundits, some surrogates on podcasts or talk show or radio program, bumping their gum, saying certain things because they want to see Grenada on its knees. Or they would put out some press release or they would do certain things like that. But nothing of substance is coming from them. Nothing of substance. Our Grenadian people are firm. Look, this guy, this political idiot, post this photo with this caption, and Grenadians dealt with him the way they're supposed to. They really dealt with the guy. I just happened to be going through Facebook and I saw it. And I don't know if the guy, definitely he's not good at reading. So I don't know if he can't read the comments. But nearly all the comments have been very negative towards him and who he represents. But not only him, nearly all the posts from the opposition forces, they have met the same fate. They met the same fate. I'm telling you, people have had it with them. Grenadians are no longer entertaining that kind of negativity about Grenada and about the government and about our beloved Prime Minister. Because all Grenadian people want to see the NDC, successful. They want to see the government transform Grenada and do things for our people. That is what our people want to see. Yeah? We are no longer in this kind of thinking. Before it was just negative, 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 negative. Pull down, pull down, pull down, cry, cry out, complain, complain, complain. Grenadians are pleased with what is happening and they want it to continue. They want this place to be transformed. They want a better life for their family, for their friends, for their neighbors, and so on. And Grenadians believe that it is possible under the leadership of the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. And that is something that you cannot come up against. You see, when somebody believes in you, when somebody put their trust in you, when somebody believe in you, don't matter what the enemy do or say, they will never be successful. They will never be successful. The opposition forces will never, ever be successful. I'm telling you, when people believe in you, use me as an example. I have been attacked left, right, and center. My family members, just name it. They attack me in all different ways, but they have never been able to get through. They have never been successful. They never get a breakthrough. Because more they attack me is more the people support what I do, more the people remain solid with me. Because the people believe in me. I have demonstrated over the many years my commitment to what I do, my sincerity, my honesty to what I do. And when I disseminate information, you can count on it. You can say, yes, boy, what that man say is true. Nothing but the truth. It's the same thing with our beloved Prime Minister and the team of men and women. Grenadians believe in them, believe that they would improve the living standard and condition of our people. They have hope, again, renewed hope, things going to happen for our people. Because we have experienced the opposition forces when they were in government for 20-something years. We've experienced that. The majority of people in Grenada, they have actually lived through that period, that era. If you speak to young people, right? Hey, Rita, how are you doing? If you speak to young people, let's say 30-something years, early 40s, they will tell you nearly everything about the previous administration, right? The NNP. They will tell you about the NNP and that period and what took place. Some things they may forget, some things you have to refresh their memory and so on, right? But they know fully well about the NNP and the first NDC. So they can actually compare, they can actually pull from their experiences and say, boy, this NDC is certainly very different. This NDC is indeed different. And this NDC is more focused. The team is more pragmatic, more results-based oriented, and they really want to see Grenada transformed. They want to see Grenada turn the thing around and become like a Singapore. But they believe it can happen with this team of men and women. And that is what the opposition forces are up against. A Grenadian population who believe that good things will come our way with this team of men and women. That is what they're up against. And look, don't play with that. It can go both ways, huh? Let's be real. It can go both ways. Because when you believe in somebody, when you trust somebody, and if they mess up, you know, it is very, very hard to forgive, right? But I am simply saying, as it stands now, Grenadians are happy with the performance of the government. Grenadians believe that this government will transform the country. And mind you, the reason why is because the NDC administration campaigned, or the NDC party, under the leadership of the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, they campaigned, right? And they said they would do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so far, they are holding true to the promises they made, and they are delivering on them, brick by brick by brick. So in the next 3-4 years, or let's say the next election, the NDC can come and say, during my campaign, I promise you these 20 things, and during my tenure, I delivered on 19 or 20 of them. That is what we needed in politics, some level of accountability. So you make a number of promises. The Grenadian people voted for you based on the promises you made, based on the manifesto, based on the plan that you outline, that you say you will fulfill, you will deliver on, and you deliver on it. Even if you ain't get to deliver on all. Because, look, things do happen, right? Between now and the election, maybe you might get all 30 or all 20, or maybe you might get 18 delivered or fulfilled, or 28. You see? But the Grenadian people will respect you because you made those promises and you fulfill them. Forget the naysayers and forget the haters and those who would always talk. There are people who would always talk. But we are seeing accountability in our politics. Because you're dealing with a brighter population, you know, who more tech savvy and they bright. So they know how to go back and check on the many things that you say you will deliver on. Right? And my good friend, Mrs. Victor, I am only using the numbers there as an example. Right? So I am not being specific to say, well, the NDC made 5 promises or 21 promises or 18 or 20. No, I'm not using the actual number, only using that as an example. All right? So that is what we wanted in politics. You campaign, you say these are the things you will do, and we believe in you, we have confidence in you, we vote you in, and we expect you to deliver on them. All right? And if you can't deliver on them, come back to the people and say, hey, can't deliver on this one. Yes, I promise I will, but look at the challenges that we face. Grenadians are mature. Grenadians will appreciate that even more. So I am so happy. We are not even 2 years into the NDC term as yet. About 3 or 4 months again to go. Right? But they have delivered on quite a number of things. They started off on the right footing and they continue on that path. You understand? That is important. They have instilled confidence and trust because people saw for the last 20 months that they actually fulfilled a number of promises and they never beat around the bushes and play games with the people. They were very firm. Remember, I list many of those bold and big promises that they fulfilled. Yeah. So the opposition forces, they are dealing with that. They are dealing with young, brilliant minds who are very patriotic. They want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And they are working towards that. They are working every day on that project to better Grenada, to better Carriacou, to better PT Martinique. And we have confidence in them. We believe that they will deliver on the many promises that they made. So no matter what the opposition forces say or do, they can't get to control the narrative. They have not gotten the opportunity to really be so relevant that people would say by they turning towards them. Because we do not have a real alternative in this country. Because they are fighting on the other side. Serious rumblings. They cannot have a general council. They cannot call a convention. There's a leadership struggle, a fight taking place. You don't know who's going to be leader. You don't know if the same guy will remain there and die as the leader of that organization. You know, like how some of the African leaders, they remain there even if they get a stroke, even if they have speech impediment, even if their eyesight gone, even if they have to walk with stick, and they still stay in there. Because the people around them, they make them, like a big wall. So you can't touch them. There are some people like that. They just can't satisfy. And I will do a program on that. A leader who cannot satisfy. You have $19 million. Some people say you make a mistake by putting the 1 before the 9. So they say you have 91 million. I am not going to say you have 91 million. I will stick to the 19 million. You have property here and property there and property everywhere. You're ripe in age. You're old in age, right? In other words, it's a cycle. Your chances of living for the next 30 years is very slim, because you will be 107, right? I'm not saying it can happen, but you'll be 107. Not only that, no, in fact, you'll be 108, right? Because we're in 2024. But your cognitivity, your ability to reason, to do things, you'll be very, very slow. You'll not be able to do what you did in, let's say, your 40s or your 50s. Definitely you will not be able to do that. So you need to know when to bow out and enjoy your millions and enjoy your money, right? And enjoy life. Because if a person is if a rich person is about to die and you ask them, what do you want the most? They will tell you time. Because with time, a lot could happen. What they want is time, nothing more. They don't want more money. They don't want more this, not time. They want more time. So I am saying, look, you say you're healthy, you say you eat well, you exercise well, you have a lot of money, you're ripe in age. Well, take the time and enjoy it now. Enjoy it. You see? But still, the greed, power, you're hungry for power. You're hungry for power. You want to come back. You want history to say that you spend 23 years and a half plus another 5. So you want to make 30 years as Prime Minister in Grenada, even if you will be 80-something or 90-something years. You don't care about that. Because come the next election, that person will be about 80-something, right? But I am saying all of this, it's greed. It's you're hungry for power. You're hungry for it because you get the taste of it and they take it away from you. The people take it away from you, but you still want to take it back. And you had it for so long. So you have a younger population, but still, grandpa wants to govern over that young population. Come on, just think about it. It doesn't make much political sense, huh? Because you're fighting for something that it's like John Crompton. They called him back, but he died in power. How old he was? 80-something or 90-something? He died in power. You want to be that? You want to be remembered as the person who came back and died in power? It's greed. You're greedy for power. You want it until you die. But Grenadians are not going to accept that. All right? They're not going to accept that. We want to transform this place. We want to have a better life. We want Grenada to be like a Singapore. All right? Like a Singapore. That's so important. Good. And Donna, when I speak on this program, do not believe that you're the producer of this program. All right? You're not the producer of this program. I am the host of this program, and I am the producer of this program. And you're a student in the class. So relax yourself. All right? Relax a bit. Everything will be good. And learn. Learn from the teacher in the class. Good. So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Take good care. I will be back with you tonight, God's willing, starting from 8 in the p.m. in the hub, where we will continue that journey. Because indeed, it's a journey. We can't stop, because I told you many, many, many years ago on this program, the opposition forces will not go to sleep and allow the NDC to peacefully govern and to deliver to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. They will not. They will give trouble. They will give real trouble. Real, they would make melee, bacchanal. They're going to concoct stories. They're going to throw things out there. They want chaos. They want anarchy, in my belief. They want instability. They want real problems. They're not getting what they want. But still, we have to remain focused, and we have to keep on that journey. So far, so good. All right?